Me restream. Okay. I'll give this a minute to get to Facebook, but man, I was excited. I was gonna press start stream. I had everything all prepped and ready, and it was just gonna work, and then it suddenly didn't. I shouldn't be surprised. Oh, good Lord. Okay. And I'm in fact seeing myself on Facebook, so that's good. I'm seeing myself on YouTube, that's good. And yeah, I think that's all I really need. I'll give it a few minutes for people to get in if they want to, and yeah. I think that'll be good. This is what I'm gonna do today. Yeah. Let's see, questions. There's gotta be an easier way to do this though. Don't worry, I won't spend more than just a couple minutes on this. It's I know this isn't the most interesting thing to watch. But so there. Aha, I have an eyeball. Oh, I think that's me. All right, I'm gonna talk to myself. Oh boy. Yeah. All right, figuring this thing out. I folded some corrugations at a bar last night and thought it'd be interesting to talk about a little bit. So these are free-formed, sort of improv corrugations, and this is why I was excited to show this to you, because I got all this set up and like a nice side lighting coming in, and it just makes me happy to have this. So let's see. These were all done by hand. You can get some pretty fine detail by folding by hand, and I thought I'd go over a little bit of my process. So for these live streams, I've kind of been wanting to encourage myself to do something I've never done before, something maybe I'm not sure that it works, a little experimental. This time, I think I want to do something I know works, but I want to see, almost create a database of a sorts of different designs, mostly to see kind of where it goes. I have an idea of where it's going to go. Most of the time, these streams are going to be hopefully making something that will be frameable, sellable. I can put in an art show and feel good about it. It's not always the case. I figure, 70% of the pieces that I make end up being, awesome, and the other 30% end up being okay, interesting, but poor execution, or maybe I want to do this with better paper. That's fine. This is going to be solely for research, I guess. So it'll be interesting. I'll be folding the same thing several times with slight variations, and we'll see how that works. So this was the first thing I did, and this was kind of a free-form fold. You can see the first folds are these parallel lines, which aren't that accurate. They're supposed to be parallel and evenly spaced. I folded in the air, and I was kind of bumped around a little bit and stuff like that. So it's not the neatest I've ever folded, but it was fun. Kept my hands busy. And then there's these zigzags that go across the paper. There's a whole bunch of them. I call those secondary collapse creases or secondary arrays. Ray Champ's degree of pleats terminology, we call it second degree of pleats. And then you can see there's a few different pencils here to highlight this, is a few tertiary collapse creases that zigzag across the paper. So then, and so this kind of sparked some things in me because they're fun. But then I decided to play around with parallel evenly spaced lines and some diagonals. Here's the first one I did. Parallel evenly spaced, and then diagonal between every other one. And so you don't get you get a period. So there's periodicity here. Like that point corresponds to that point. It goes zoop, zoop, and if this were to continue on, it would continue to kind of wave as it went through. However, an individual period doesn't have mirror symmetry. So you can see it dips way lower on the left before creeping up to the right, and then way lower on the left, and then creeps up to the right. And actually, looking at it now, I don't know if these are necessarily even. I have a feeling they are, but maybe that's just the way I've got it tilted. That'll be interesting to explore. So here's the game. We set up. I've got 6 sheets of elephant hide here. These are eighths, an eighth of a sheet, I think, maybe a 16th. I'm going to divide them into 8 evenly spaced parallel segments, regions, so 7 creases across the paper. And then I'm going to vary where the diagonals are to create the first collapse. I'm going to set up some second collapse creases, so I'll keep it all consistent. And we're going to see where it kind of veers. I mean, I kind of know how it's going to go, but I want to see a nice visual of how that's going to work. So there. Hope you enjoy it. All right. First thing I'm going to do is divide each of these into eighths. So this is the boring part. This is the part that if I were doing a real class or maybe something a little more professional than a kind of stream of consciousness, live stream of consciousness, then I'd prep this first. But because I'm doing this for me, I didn't prep anything. This is just for me. And I think you guys are interested in this division, this kind of process anyway. So I'm kind of setting this up. This is 8 evenly spaced regions, parallel. It's the same way I grid. So you can see there's we fold in half, fold in quarters. I like to set up a skeleton. When you're working with eighths, it doesn't really. You can kind of have some more leeway. If I wanted to, before going to the next subdivision and back creasing, I could fold here. It's not as accurate because I'm folding from one edge of the paper way over to the other half of the paper, but that's okay. It's mostly experimentation, and I guess the density, the saturation of folds that I'm working with, I can be a little off. There we go. There's a second eighth. So I'm going to do 6 of these. Actually, I might do 8 because I have 8 sheets here, just because grace of binary numbers. So I might bang out all 8 of these. Let's see. Shouldn't take too long. I have to say I am liking the 11 o'clock thing. This is 11 a.m. New York time. It's nicer for me. I can sleep in a little bit. Monday nights I go to a bar and I do sea shanties and folk songs, so I'm out pretty late. I don't sing myself or I sing along with the band. There's a regular band that plays. Anyway, that's a good time. That's usually where I get most of my folding and prep work done for the paper wrangling series. Anyway, I also have a 9:30 meeting on Tuesday morning, so that's another reason for pushing this back. I'll actually have time to set up the live stream between the end of that meeting and the start of this. I could do this all on the computer, just throw up Inkscape and have my way with reflections and stuff like that. There's something nice about having it in hand, physically in hand. Oh, did I do 10 of these? I did. I only need 6. I'm only going to do 8, I think. That'll be quite enough. I don't want to be here all day. So I'm interested to know, I don't think I have anyone in the stream right now, but if you're watching the recording, I'd be interested in the comments down the road how you feel about the time here. So I've been keeping these to around an hour. Some of them have gone to an hour 15, an hour 20. I think my shortest one was about 52 or 54 minutes, something like that. So is that a good time? Would you prefer more in-depth stuff? Would you prefer it to be shorter? Something like that. Kanchan from India, welcome. Thank you for joining. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, but if you have any questions, I am watching the comments. And so just to bring you up to speed, what I'm doing is folding 8/8 divisions with some diagonals so that I can create kind of reflection lines and study how they fold. So right now I've got 5, 6. We've got 2 more. I think I need to back crease this one. Yep. And also let me know if you have any content you'd be interested in seeing. I think at some point I want to get into showing how I do fabric folding, or maybe some of my framing work, other stuff. There's a lot to go over. Right now I'm just live stream of consciousness. That's how that works. Techniques for folding in the air while you're standing at a bar. Something like that. All right, only 2 left. Is that right? Yes, there's 7 here, so only 1 left. Oh, so for the last live stream, I did, do I have it? I don't have it in arm's reach, but I went over another corrugation design, which was interesting, and it kind of bounced around and then cycled back and created this little island in the middle of the piece. And I don't know, I smelled imaginary numbers or complex numbers in there, just an inkling. I had no proof of any of that. And then after a discussion with my math group that Friday, this past Friday, we might have figured out that it's Riemann surfaces, which is something I've just heard about. I don't know much more than that. I'll have to study it, but that's super interesting. So I might throw a video series in the chat at some point to that does I say a good job of explaining it, such that it introduced me to the concept. So I'm sure there's a lot more than the series goes into, but I'll have to play around with that. Anyway, I have now eight, yes, 8 eighths. And now I can start to put some diagonals. So I could do like a full diagonal. So literally from this point to this point. If you imagine a diagonal going from that point to that point, and then I cut the paper here or here, it's the same. It's just redistributing where the region is. And to the same tune, if I have a diagonal that goes from here to here, and I have more paper, now I've got issues because I've got creases that intersect, and that's not allowed. For the game kind of bin, primary collapse creases can't intersect on the region in question. The region being the boundaries of the sheet of paper. So where I'm going with this is I could start with a crease that goes from corner to corner, or in reality, I could turn it a little bit and have a little bit of space here. And that'll lead to a neater fold because, maybe if I'm two creases that intersect right at the edge here have a better chance of tearing than just a single crease on the edge. Just because there's so much breakdown in the fibers. So I'm gonna pull it off a little bit. I'm not gonna have it touch all the way to the corner, and I think that'll keep everything a lot neater. So how do I want to do this? Well, we've got a few different ways. Part of what I want to develop in my book is a terminology, is a naming system for these sorts of patterns. If anyone seeing the video knows of a naming system for this sort of thing, I'd love to hear it because I don't know of one. Saved me a lot of trouble and having to build one up from scratch. But the idea is that if you have parallel, evenly spaced things, and you have, for example, a pattern that kind of looks like this. This would be an AB pattern. You have all the mountain folds, for example, are the diagonals, and all the valley folds are the vertical lines. All of the A's are parallel to each other, all of the B's are parallel to each other, and then the A's and the B's have whatever this theta angle is. And this is scalable. So if you imagine this, scaled down like this or pushed in like this, it's not. It doesn't really matter the aspect ratio for the sake of the setup. What will matter is when we start putting reflection creases in, it'll vary the kind of the zigzagginess, the frequency of the wave, as it were. That's one possible thing. I could do bum 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 bum. Just throw this out. I could do this all the way down. And what that equates to is an ABC pattern. Except it's not really an ABC pattern because a wave, a second collapse crease is going to have to reflect, and basically it will, if it's rising and hits an A, it's going to fall and hit a B. rising and hit a C, and then if you imagine the next ABC pattern, well, it has to fall and hit the next A. So we're actually going to call this A prime, B prime, C prime. And so that allows for the A's to line up on risings. And then you have rising, falling, rising, falling, rising, falling, and then it repeats. So this isn't an ABC pattern, this is an ABCDEF pattern, or an ABC, A prime, B prime, C prime pattern. Does that make sense? Basically, you need an even number to create the period that we're going to work with. I could, I don't have to have diagonals in here. I could just leave an empty space. So if I have 8s like this, I could do a rising, skip 1, falling, skip 1, rising, skip 1, falling, skip 1. And that'll have its own. That'll be ABB, C. What is this? Yeah, ABB, C. B, B, and then it repeats. Right? You see how complex this gets. And this is just to set up the initial creases, the primary collapse creases. It gets complicated when you start putting in secondary collapse creases, and the purpose of the study is to figure out how these secondary collapse creases, given they're all parallel and evenly spaced and all that stuff, how are they going to behave? Are they going to veer off to infinity? Are they going to be very jaggedy and then kind of taper off? Are they going to equalize and come back to kind of their origin and then do almost a wave pattern? I'm gonna shut up and just start folding, because you guys are probably sick of the theory and want to see what's going on in practice. So let's see. I gotta have 8 different designs, and there's no limit to the amount of designs I can do. This periodicity can be a single period could be as long. I said I was gonna shut up. I'm gonna start folding. First one's going to be up, down, up. We'll do something like that. Sorry, not shut up per se, but I'll stop with the theory and getting to folding. But I'll still describe what I'm folding. So, like I said, I am not bringing this all the way to the edge of the paper, or to the corner. But I do have a very intense angle here, which I'm going to try to maintain throughout as accurately as possible. In this case, with this particular setup, if I want a rising diagonal, still calling it diagonal even though it doesn't go vertex to vertex, rising diagonal, falling diagonal, that falling diagonal is going to be a reflection of the rising diagonal over this. And so what I can do is use my thumbnail and transfer that little bump through the paper using the table and burnishing that through. Nice and easy. So here we go. I've got a valley, and I'll proliferate that throughout. So it's going to be rising, falling, rising. Little zigzag fold there. And like most primary collapse creases, I'm going to want to back crease all of these. All these valley folds have only been folded once. They all have to be reversed so they're more neutral, and I can control them better. There we go. This is let's actually draw on the paper. This is for research. I need to find my marker here. Here we go. This is a ABC. So ABCB, ABCB. So it'd be ABCB, ABCB, ABCB. I'm just going to put that in the corner here. So it's an A, B, C, B pattern. Cool. Next one. Next one, I'm going to do diagonals all the way through. It's going to have. Actually, this isn't as easy to fold accurately, so I'm just going to have to eyeball the spacing here a wee bit. Make sure that that's, I don't know, 1/4 inch, 1/8 of an inch away from the side. So rotating clockwise, maintain the same direction. It's going to be something akin to this. But you know what I could do? If these are supposed to be parallel, and assuming they are, I can just I can duplicate that through the paper this way. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Using that burnishing technique in your thumbnail. If your thumbnail is not really conditioned for this, over time you kind of get a little kind of hook almost in there. I guess a callus of sorts. You can use a bone folder or you know, a pen or something, as long as you can get inside that crease. But it's good to keep in mind. There's other ways to do this. In worst case, you can always throw it on a vector graphics program, Inkscape, Illustrator, that sort of thing. Okay, and I was just doing a quick check, make sure I didn't miss any comments on Facebook. OBS isn't showing me the comments. I have to keep YouTube up for some reason. So since I've started this live stream, I think there's been a couple updates that has made learning streaming quite a bit harder because it's changing like right around me. So that's disappointing, but I'm drifting a little bit. You could see, I don't know if you could see, these are getting closer and closer together, and this one I think might actually intersect here. So I'm gonna fudge that a wee bit. Eyeball it. That'll be fine. Oh, so now it's drifting the other direction. Whatever. I'll just I'll eyeball it for the rest of the thing, and it will be just fine. You guys won't come at me with torches for that, will you? Okay. I mean, the back creasing is all ugly. You know, the parody is ugly right now just because I had to flip around so much. So I'm just going to back crease through, make it look all pretty. And there we go. Now we have an AB pattern that proliferates throughout. So A, B. So ABCB, AB. Next one. Let's do ABB. And so what that looks like is, oh, excuse me 1 second, I have somebody at the door. Oh, hello. Hey, thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
mail. Maybe I can edit that out later. Where was I? ABB. So here's going to be the A. This kind of diagonal thing. Right. And I'm going to keep the BBs as vertical. So basically a diagonal between every other. Now, again, the interesting thing about this is that there's 3 in the periodicity, so ABB. Doesn't really work too well for what we're going to do. We need an even number, so it's going to end up being ABB, A prime, B prime, B prime. Maybe. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Again, this is going to have to be eyeballed, not the end of the world. Oh, and actually, check that out. I have a guide. So I can do something like this. Oh, that's not bad. Cool. So maybe 8s weren't quite enough to get the full picture, but it'll at least give kind of a hint of the trend that's going to occur. So with this, I'm always putting these in the bottom right, so I know kind of an orientation. Not that it matters for the sake of folding, but for my own purposes, for the sake of notation, the thing matters. So we're going to call this ABB, A prime, B prime, B prime, because there's an odd number in the kind of the base periodicity. So A, B, B, A prime, B prime, B prime. Okay then. Next one. I've got 5 more of these to do, and then I'll start putting the secondary collapse creases in there. What do I want to do for this one? It could be another, kind of up-down thing, but I skip this time. Could be interesting. Let's try it. So up, down. And then the unfortunate thing is, unlike the other up, down, the whichever one it was, this one, I don't have a reference that I can work on. If I folded this margin in half, I'd be able to, but I don't want excess creases, so I'm just gonna, like before, eyeball it, and it will be just fine. When you're honing in on certain folds, there are 2 possibilities. You either overshoot. Well, there's 2 possibilities on either side of the crease. You either overshoot or undershoot on one side or the other, or both, right? So for example, if I want the next crease is going to be here-ish. I don't know if you can see that, but next crease is going to be here-ish. And if I feel like this part is too far back, well, I can pull it a little further. This is why I don't set the crease until I'm confident. If I feel like it's too far forward, well, I can pull back a little, and I still have kind of a fulcrum in the middle here that I can rotate over. Same thing over here. This is blind, I can't really see this. If I were really trying to be accurate, I would set this one first, and then I'd flip, and then maybe shimmy this into place. I don't want to get an excess crease by burnishing, so I'm going to throw that sucker back. And there we go. Little techniques, little tricks like that. So that way, now the other way. Sound effects and everything. kidding. Back crease these. Okay. We have a new pattern here. This is an A, B, B, C, B, B, A. But I'm not going to repeat that A. So it's A, B, B, C, B, B. So there. Maybe B prime, B prime. Oh, I suppose it should be A, B, B prime, C, B prime, B? I don't know. I'm going to keep it the same notation. See, this is why I need to think these out. This is the very reason why I do the live stream here. To try to suss these things out, see what doesn't work for the description. It's one thing to know how to fold these. It's a whole different beast to be able to describe how these things work. For now, I'm going to keep with the same sort of naming convention that I did at the beginning of the video. A, B, B, C, B, B. B, B, C, B, B. But I'll keep that in mind that might not be the final thing. Let's see, we got 4 of these left. What else we got? We could skip 2. I've skipped 2 before. It's fun. It actually leads to some really interesting results. Let's subdivide a little bit. I'm going to break my initial rule. I said that I was going to keep all the primary creases, all the parallel ones evenly spaced. I'm gonna mess with that a little. So I'm going to subdivide every other. Be like that. So wide, short, short, wide, short, short. So that's going to end up being AA. Maybe I should describe the regions. Actually, that makes more sense. I'm more describing the regions than the creases. So that would be ABB, 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 all the way through. Okay. All right, ABB pattern. It's an odd number, so I'm going to have to make it ABB, A prime, B prime, B prime, for the sake of the state of the nomenclature at the moment. A, B, B, A prime, B prime, B prime. All right, 2 more. That's not true. For some reason, I have 3 more. Yes, 3 more. Now, let's take this and run with that. That'll be interesting. So I could put diagonals either rising or falling in the small margins, and I can do diagonals either rising or falling in the large margins. In reality, if I wanted to do this correctly, I would do an AB-AB pattern with even spacing like that. Hold up. I know how to do this. Let's do that. So I want an AB-AB pattern with parallel, evenly spaced lines. Easy enough to do. I'm going to go like this, create a pleat, and I'm eyeballing the width of this pleat. I'm able to keep it parallel because I'm using perpendicularity at the side here. Bam. And then I'm going to overlap this, and what I can do is sort of see, it's not going to be visible on camera, but I can kind of feel there's a bump right here. It's going to be a certain distance back from the mountain fold here. What that allows me to do is keep it relatively evenly spaced. So I can keep these at about the same distance, and that's going to be important. I'm not really creasing down hard because I don't want to burnish through the paper. As you can see, there's a bump underneath here that would translate through. But I am pressing down hard enough that it will keep its form, and then I'll flip it and crease down nice and hard. Okay. And work my way back like this. And the last one's not going to be a pleat, that's just going to be an overlap like that. And like I said, I'm going to flip and then. Bam. AB, AB. I'll back crease these. 2 left. Swear to God, almost done. Boy, I still have to do the secondary collapse pieces. It's alright. I'm game to continue if you guys are. I say you guys, I have one person watching, so. Alright. This is an AB pattern. We have a thick, thin, all the way through. It's an even number, so I don't have to primatize this. Okay, 2 left. Now I'm going to do varying parallel. I'm going to work on this A, B, B, A prime, B prime, B prime pattern. And the way I'm going to do this, I think I'm going to do one with a diagonal in the short, and then one with the diagonal in the long, and we'll see what kind of effect that has. So first thing is I need to set up those subdivisions. There's 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Back crease. Same thing on this one. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then rising in the wide margin, and then rising in the first thin margin. And of course, there's going to be a difference whether it's rising in the first one or the second margin. Rising versus falling in different orders. I don't have enough paper for that. You guys probably don't have enough time for that. This will be enough to at least explore a bit. So like that. And then I think how do I want to do? Same way I did before. Yeah, that ends up with 2 parallel risings. Nice. Okay, that's the wide ones. Now I'm going to do the thin ones. I said rising in the first thin. Okay, rising in the first thin. rising the first thin. And yet again. Back crease. There we go, looks something like that. And then this. Okay, we have A, B, A, B. No, A, B, B, B. A, B, B, B. Okay. Like that. Okay. This one, however, is A, B, A, B. No. A, B. How do I describe this? If I'm describing it based on the region, I have wide angle, rising triangle, falling triangle, thin region, wide region. So it's going to be A, B, B, C, A, B, B, C, A, B, B, C. No, A, B, C, D. Yep, A, B, C, D, because it's going to be different depending on. I guess I'll have to make that decision. I'll have to. Oh, it's A, B, C. I don't know. I don't know, guys. Whatever. It's fine. I'll develop this. This is not rigorous. This isn't not writing a book on the subject. I am writing a book on the subject, but I right now I'm not writing a book on the subject. So we've got all these primary collapse things, and we've got to turn these into corrugations from here. So let's see how these behave. So a primary collapse is just you oscillate between mountain and valley like this as you go across the paper. Here's your A-B pattern. Like that. This is simple enough. You get this cool little rotation. And anyone who's folded a fan, knows how to do this. All right. Cool. There's your primary collapse, and that's what it looks like. That's the form that it takes when it's collapsed. And then what you do is create a secondary collapse that, I did this in the last live stream, that goes through the paper while it's in its folded state. There's a different approach to it. You don't have to fold through so many layers, and I'll show you that in just a little. So that's the one. I'm going to reverse the things, and now we're going to go to the second one I did, which was that wasn't the second one I did. Oh, this was the second one I did. The ABCD. And you could see the first one, while it kind of rotated and continued on, this one kind of equalizes itself, and it just back and forth like that. So that's interesting. Bam, just like that. Okay, so that's going to be the primary collapse of this one. That's the form it takes. This one, however, is, you would think, the same as this, except there's a space between them. So mountain valley, now valley mountain, like this. And mountain valley, valley mountain, like this. And you end up with not a rotational thing like this, but actually a very similar kind of back and forth pattern, like that, as it collapses down. So that's interesting. And if this were to continue on, this wouldn't spiral, this would proliferate linearly. Cool. All right, so we've got 3 now. Now I'm doing the ABB CBB. And this has 2 steps of rotation, and then kind of 1 step of linearness, and then 2 steps of rotation, 1 step of linearness. So this does look like it's eventually going to spiral out of control, as these things do. That's fun. Okay, so the next one. AB pattern, there's no, this is more of a control, I suppose. This, if I'm using, this isn't really very scientific of an approach. If I wanted to, I'd probably end up with like, I don't know, 10,000 different things and study each one of them more thoroughly. But you get this window blind effect, mountain valley. It's not quite as interesting. There's still plenty of things you can do with it. This one is going to go up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. That's what it is. And ends up with, because there's an even number in the period, it oscillates back and forth linearly, not like this one. This one actually it permeates with a depth, with a height. So this doesn't. If you look at the profile, it goes on and on and on in this direction, but it's not like this one where it goes da 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 and then back down and then da, back down. This will continue on, even though I have twisted like that. In reality, if that's the base, this is going to go forever in that direction. And that's kind of the shape of how this one works. There's nothing to really pull it back to its original position. Your ABB pattern, this is the one where I folded the diagonal through the wider thing. And you can see this is rotating much slower. There's a lot more detail. That's kind of the grace of there being closer together creases. So we are already coming up on an hour, and I'm having so much fun. I'm going to keep going, to do all the secondary collapse creases, or at least a couple of them. There we go. You can see that kind of rotating. And again, this is going, rotation, rotation, linear, rotation, rotation, linear. Actually, I think it's linear and back, and then rotation, rotation, linear back, rotation, rotation, linear back. And that leads to a more gradual spiral than we get here, which is much more dramatic. And so that's fun. And last one. I've got all these, this whole messy pile of folds. I'll organize that in a hot second. So this one is going to go. Yeah, that's fun. It looks like the sum of it is going to rotate. And actually, it looks like it's rotating around this. So it's like kind of going like that, which is neato. Yeah, it seems like it's rotating from a point like way out here. It kind of makes a skirt effect. That's fun. All right. So here we go. These are primary collapse creases, primary collapse forms. And now we have to take these and turn them into corrugations, which basically require a secondary collapse to go through them. So I'm going to unfold these and do some more pre-creasing, and we'll see how that works. I did a little bit of the techniques in the last stream. I don't know that I need to go over that too much, but you'll see the process kind of in the wild. For that, we'll start easy with this all these parallels. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do 4 secondary collapse arrays. A secondary collapse is going to, you basically take a region, you act on that region as if it were a new sheet of paper. So imagine this little strip were cut out. I got now a rectangle, looks like that. And I create a new set of primary collapse creases, and I fold those. Now, the rules are that anytime one of those primary collapse creases of that subregion, which we're going to call secondary collapse creases, anytime it hits the boundary of one of these regions, which is one of the original primary collapse creases, it reflects. It goes into the next region. And you calculate that through. Now the paper itself has a calculator in there, basically the flat surface that we can use physics to calculate it for us. For consistency, I think what I'm gonna do is start always on the left side, always 1/4 of the way up and a 45-degree angle, and then 1/8 of the way up at a 45-degree angle, and then to the same tune, so 1/4 going down, and then 1/8 going down, something like that. And we'll see if these work. Some of these might have issues. Actually, some of these will, but that's okay. So the first one is a 45-degree angle that will intersect that point. I'm eyeballing this. That's probably good enough. There we go. So a little. You see, there's a bend that goes through there, but it's not hard to sort of iron out with your finger. That's the crease that I'm starting with, and the next one's going to be right here, going through that point on the left side. Again, kind of eyeball this thing. Okay, great. That's my secondary collapse setup. I'll do the same thing over here, but going downward. One and 2. Wonderful. Now these 4 creases are going to proliferate throughout the paper. I'll start usually one at a time, so I can, without going into too much detail of the technique, there's methods for this. Kind of goes like that, bounces the paper, figures it all out. And as expected, it kind of bounces back and forth without going off to infinity. Looks kind of like that. Looks really cool. Next one is going to go like that. I'm going to fold the second secondary collapse crease array without paying attention to the first collapse creases. Just anywhere where I see a crease that it's reflecting over, I just reflect it like that. And so I'm gonna ignore this and do it. I have the creases in there. I have confidence that if I refolded them, it would collapse into form. And so now I'm going to work on the next 2. Only on the other side. One and 2. very good. And I want to keep it on this side so I have the thing. So I'm going to, now that I have all the pre-creases in place, I've got a valley set of secondary collapse creases. The next one's going to be mountain. Because I'm switching from either an upward slope to a downward slope, positive to negative slope, or vice versa, it's actually going to maintain the same parity. So I'm going to go from a valley secondary collapse crease array to a mountain secondary collapse crease array to yet another mountain secondary collapse crease array to a valley secondary collapse crease array. It looks like this. There's a certain element of just sort of gathering it and then smushing it in the right place. I like to call origami tactical crumpling. That's literally what's happening here. I'm tactically crumpling this paper until it does what I want it to do. Voila. There we go. First thing done. Great. We're just over an hour. We're about an hour, 10 minutes. I'm going to bang out the rest of these without as much commentary. I'll probably still talk, but not as, not with, I'm not going to hold myself up for it. One done. So, quarters and eighths. We went this way to start off with. An eighth. Like that. And the reason I'm eyeballing this is it doesn't really matter if these lines are parallel. It helps, especially with all of the bouncing around. But I don't know if there's going to be any conflicts. Maybe there will be. Oh no, so some of them definitely will. But it won't matter if one is slightly off of parallel for this conflict. So we'll see. We'll see if how important accuracy is. I don't know if it's going to be that big of a deal for the sake of this research. Yeah, and for this one especially, it equalizes. It doesn't spiral out of control. I think we're good. Get this next one. There we go. Next one. And last one. This one's a little close to the edge. It's not going to be quite as I don't know, interesting, I guess, but it'll work. Okay. And we'll keep with the same sort of thing. We'll do valley, mountain, mountain, valley, all the way through. You kind of feel like your hands are spiders walking through and manipulating the paper as they. travel across the paper. Crackle, crackle, crackle. All right. This is Prescafini. There we go. There we go. There's that one. And all of its nice side-lit glory. Yeah, I like that. All right, that one. Worked out the kinks. Next one, Sycamore. AB. This one's gonna be. Actually, I think this one I'm gonna have some issues with, but you'll see how that works. Kind of interesting. So half, quarter, E. Quarter, E. Rising. Cosi. Some of you might already see what the issue is going to be. As I fold this, it's going to kind of go up and up and up and up like that. And if I have two of these, they're going to go up and up and up and up like that. And then if I have two more come from the other direction, they're going to eventually smack into the rising reflection creases. I think for the ones that don't equalize, and this one very, very obviously is not going to equalize. It's not going to pull back, for example. I'm not going to fold the other one. So these will just be extra creases on the paper, mostly because I want these to actually look nice. So I'm absolutely certain that the next ones are just, they're going to plow right through, and I don't want to deal with that. I've only had 1 cup of coffee this morning, and it's not enough. Hey, hold on for 1 second, guys. I just had somebody come in.
You don't have to.
I have a friend dropping off some stone pieces for me to experiment with. That'll be fun. No, I'm not going to try to fold stone. I have a game project that, I don't know, I think it'd be fun to try to use the CNC router at local makerspace. Try to cut some stone pieces out of them. Has nothing to do with origami, but I'll post that at some point. I think that'll be interesting. There we go. And we'll keep with the same pattern, valley first, then mountain. Valley first, and mountain. So while I do these streams, I keep an open shop. Sometimes I'll get people coming in, you know. I have a little sign that says, hey, class in progress. Usually it's for classes, but, you know, keep an eye out for, you know, be respectful of this sort of thing. They usually are. Hey, thank you, Steve. There we go. That's what that one looks like. kind of neat. Oh yeah. Thanks. I'll actually, I'm on a live stream right now. I'll show this to.
I'll explain it to you when you get off.
Yeah.
We're gonna walk, we'll be back.
Well, that'll be fun to try to cut through. Thanks, man.
Well,
Yeah. We'll talk. Ongoing projects. That's exciting. All right. So we've got 3 of these done.
he's on a live stream. You send me-
And 5 more left. Same pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right in here. So, I don't know offhand if this one's going to equalize or not. We'll find out. And it could be that it like goes through the first one and then equalizes and then comes back. For now, I'm going to go into the assumption they're not going to intersect. Yeah, and yep, that is very obviously going off to infinity, so I'm just not going to fold the other ones. Oh, and here's another fun thing. So check this out. So we have a very spiky kind of thing, and then it kind of tapers off. This angle is getting more and more obtuse as it goes through. If this pattern were to continue, eventually it would hit 90 degrees to one of the creases, and then things get weird. I don't have time to go into it this time, but maybe for a future development of this, I'll talk about the zone of transition. There's some fun stuff there. Alright, this one I'm going to keep, like I said, just the one array, or the 2 arrays, the pairing, so the mountain and valley fold so you can get the cool shadows. Oh yeah, this was the one where it kind of rotated around a point that was off the paper. That's neato. Cool. Okay. Flatten it out. Get into display mode, right, with the intense shadows, and I've only got 4 more left. Bam. So this reflection line almost immediately goes off the paper, off the boundary region, I suppose. But it's okay. It comes back on pretty rapidly, so there's still more stuff to work with. I might never see it again. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is just gonna, and then it goes off. So the next one will probably be similar. Never comes back. Which means this one, I don't know. Maybe it will go straight. Maybe it'll rapidly go this way. Let's find out. So I don't think it's going to intersect this. So I'm going to go ahead and be okay with physically folding it. I have a feeling they're going to diverge. Ah, yes. Okay. Now we're into some fun things. So this is tapering into the weird territory that I mentioned earlier. So there we go. So the reflection line here goes down, up, and then it has to, in order to maintain the reflection algorithm that we set up, it has to kind of have two mountain folds in a row, so you lose that oscillation. I call this the zone of transition because it's transitioning from one particular pattern to a new flipped pattern. Looks kind of like this, and so you can see the translation here. It's going to show up better once I get the second one in. This is where folding as close to parallel as possible is important. If I had one of these at a particular angle and then another one at a different angle, it might enter the zone of transition in a different region, and then it's all over at that point. You're not going to be able to fold that. That's just hard. All right. Eyeball this thing. If I were using a computer graphics software, then I could do this more accurately. But I'm also working with such sizes that it doesn't really matter that much. Plus, it's nice to do it by hand. Okay. Zones of transition are hard to fold because they're not going to fold flat, and usually it's the flatness that allows you to get a nice crease. You kind of have to fold in the air. You have to make sure your back creasing doesn't mess anything up. So you end up with multiple creases next to each other. You don't want to end up with multiple creases that are like right on top of each other. There we go. That's that weird one. Oh, we gotta back crease this one. No, I folded it inside out. That's okay. Cool. Next one. Okay, starting off the paper, kind of just jams like that. And I have a feeling that this is going to be the end of it. It's kind of like the last one. It just kind of veers off and never comes back. So next one is going to be similar. The next, actually, this is probably going to follow a very similar format to the previous one, where one of them will very rapidly go off the paper, and from the other side, it will enter the zone of transition and become quite difficult to hold. Oh yeah, I can already feel this one veering in the direction that I don't really want. I'm losing that oscillation really quick. It's getting closer and closer to 90 degrees, and that's pretty close to 90. And there it is. Okay, so this one's going to actually go the other direction. So there's a transition, and now it's going to go this way. So that's interesting. That's actually quite interesting, because now, if this were to continue, instead of, like this one, hit the zone, and now, you know, zigzag, but it has a trajectory up until it hits the zone, and then it zigzags, and this is going to trajectorize downward. This one, I think, is going to zigzag, hit the zone, and then trajectorize, if that's a word, up to the other direction. So you get almost a cubic equation from that, or I'm not really sure, but you know, I'm gonna guess a cubic equation. Yeah. Up and up again. This time I'm not going to fold it inside out. Only 2 left, guys. If you've kept up with the video for this long, I appreciate your endurance and enthusiasm for this. Hope you've been enjoying it. There will be others of these, and like I said, leave in the comments, is this too long? Is this something you're interested in? If not, probably still going to do it, because it really has been encouraging me to actually sit down and fold. So this is the 6th one of these. I've been doing it for almost 2 months. I think I missed a couple weeks because of tech support or tech issues, and so that's unfortunate. But yeah, cool. Cool. This one's not too attractive, but it's fine. It's fine. It has interesting behavior, I suppose. This one's going to be kind of easy. This is obviously going to veer in one direction or the other, or taper off. Rising and rising and rising and falling and falling. Yep, and this one's going to disappear, never to be seen again, except, hold on. Maybe. So the interesting thing about surfaces like this is eventually, this will come around and create a spiral. Which means, in reality, this should continue on. See this line. This is why I think Riemann surfaces are a part of this, or something weird. I'm gonna act on this as if this were continuing onward. So this line right here continues through, and basically what's happening is that I'm acting on this this flat piece of paper as if the whole thing was a piece of paper, folding it over and then through an open sink. I need a burnishing tool. Oh, I've been here an hour and a half and I'm just now getting to the interesting part. So, Kelm folder. There we go. Yeah, roughed up the paper a little, that's fine. Ooh, roughed it up a lot. Okay. So this and this is part of the same secondary collapse array. I don't know how that works yet. That's the yet there. Okay, so the next one. Guys, if you have any hesitation about mathematics as as something to pursue, this is mathematics in action. I feel I don't really have much in the way of professional training for this, but I like studying the patterns here. It's not, over time you can learn the notation, you can talk to the right people that know how to actually describe what it is you're doing. But this is to me, this is the core of math. Is playing and making observations and saying, oh, what is this? This is Just saying is that's a fun thing. So you notice I haven't used a lot of math terms here. All I've done is I've presented a puzzle and then a game, a sandbox, and I played it a little bit. Okay, so that's one secondary collapse crease and two secondary collapse creases. Now I'm going to work on the rising ones that are on the other side. Okay, this is, I'm so excited about this. I don't know how this is going to work. This might end up intersecting the other secondary collapse creases. But, and if it does, not the end of the world. I kind of hope it doesn't. Aha, here's a zone of transition, a pretty nasty one too. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, and oh yeah, that's gonna intersect. So I'm gonna leave it where it is. I'm not gonna actually I'm going to I am going to start to fold the second one, and I'm only going to fold it until this region, I think. Because I still want it to look nice. Oh, how fun. That's it for that. Back crease and reverse some of these. This is going to be the only non-flat foldable. This is going to be the only non-working, non-pretty one of the group. I don't know. I need a term for this, where secondary collapse creases intersect another secondary collapse crease. I'll get to it. Ooh, okay. Alright, and I think with all of that, that is the best I can do. I just have a mess right there. Gonna leave it like that. And we'll come back and study that at some other point. It's gonna be fun. All right, last one. Are you guys ready? I'm ready. Ooh. Foot's falling asleep. Oh, hi, Olga. Welcome. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't speak Spanish, or rather, I only speak a couple words. Probably best not to embarrass myself by messing up your language. Yeah, hopefully it gets translated on YouTube. I'm not really sure how that works. If it if it automatically creates subtitles. I'll look into that. Oh, foot's still asleep. Alright, so this is equalizing, it looks like. I'm just gonna proliferate this throughout. Proceed. Yeah. One way or another, bienvenido, I think. Io parlo italiano. All right, almost done with this. Then I'm gonna get some food, because I've been folding steadily for 2 hours here. Almost there. Yeah, this is creating a cool kind of different. It's like a boulder sort of pattern, which is super cool. All right. And now unfold this. Now unfold this. So I did create a GeoGebra file that I can throw at you guys in the comments. I'll take some photos. I'll probably post this later today. Of one of these designs. This was a few years back, and it was kind of cool. It breaks a little bit if you get to the extremes, but that's okay. I might have to work on that and build my GeoGebra skills a bit. There we go. So that's that one. That weird one. That one. That one. And that one. That one. And that one. That one. Okay. I'm gonna go grab some food. Those of you watching, probably at home, thank you for watching. If you joined the live stream, also thank you for joining that. If I missed your comment, sorry, still figuring this out. It'll get there. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm gonna do another one next Tuesday, same time, 11 a.m. New York time, and I'll figure out probably the Monday prior, the day before, what exactly I want to do. So, thanks again. See you next week.